everyone, it's Melanie here with Vintage Hill Studio. I'm so glad you joined me today. I'll be making a fold-along butterfly card, and this is what it looks like. I will be using a minimal number of papers here, and here is the die by Jen Long for Sizzix. Again, it is the fold-along butterfly. So let's get started. This is the basis of the butterfly fold-along. You can see it's roughly 6 inches by 4 inches. So I will need to start with a 12 by 12 piece of paper because I need that 12-inch length and roughly 4 inches wide. Now I'm going to just score this down the middle at 6 inches, and I will fold that over, which will give me the base for my fold-along. All right. Then I'm going to bring over the fold-along part of the die, and I want to make sure that I use this edge and overlap my fold line. Not by much. You can go by the little holes there in the top and also use your fingernail to give you just the smidgen so that you are definitely over the fold line with your die. I'll use some washi tape because I don't want this to move at all when I run it through my die cutting machine. So let me put that through, and I will show you why it is important to make sure you're overlapping your fold line by just a smidgen. Get my washi tape removed here. Take off the fold along basis die. And here is your fold along when you unfold it. Okay, you can see some score lines. There are 4 score lines to go by. I find that it's easier for me to see on the white side of the paper rather than the pattern side. And I'll start by scoring each butterfly body. I need to do that because the other score lines will require just a slight adjustment to get those lined up in the track of my scoring board. Okay, and then I will remove my scoreboard and start reinforcing those fold lines. You can do this, with your pattern paper face to face like this. Whatever helps you, just make sure you take your time and get those butterflies completely aligned. There we go. Again, you can fold forward or backwards, it doesn't matter. Just make sure you can see that all the bodies are lined. Okay, here we go. One last fold, and then I'll flip that back over, and you will see that you have got your fold along all started here. Now this can be used alone as a little bitty card, or I like to add it to a card base, and that's what I'll be doing today, is adding my fold along to a standard A2 card base. The next thing I'm going to do is move on to the wings. These are the intricate parts of the wings, and I chose to use black cardstock, and then you've got 2 pieces for the body and an antenna. And the last thing is an oval die, which is also included in the die set. I wanted to use that oval with my Doris embossing folder. It was called Henna, just to add a little touch of dimension and texture to the inside of my card. Now I think you can use this for your sentiment if you want to. If this is a standalone fold-along card, you can add your sentiment in that oval and then sign on the back of the fold along, or it's totally up to you how you want to use this. I'm using it strictly for ornamental, and I'm going to add some sentiment strips to that. Now to get this to coordinate with my paper, I'm going to take a couple of distress inks and just lightly rub my finger with the embossed side down, just to get an organic look here of a matching paper. And I didn't use the cardstock that I used for the fold along for a reason. I want it to stand out a little bit. I didn't want it to exactly match my cardstock, my patterned cardstock. So I will just keep using my distress inks, and then I'm going to bring over a baby wipe. As you know, distress inks react with water, and I didn't want to add water directly to my medallion, so I'm just using the moisture in this baby wipe to kind of activate that ink and slightly move it around. And I am not concerned about any blotchiness or unevenness. It's supposed to look organic to go with my background paper. So there's our medallion. I'll set that aside to dry while I work on the detailed parts of the wings. And aren't these beautiful? I just have to tell you, the Sizzix dies are so sharp and so detailed. I ran this through maybe 3 times through my die cutting machine, and all the pieces and parts just popped out as I removed the die from the cardstock. So it cut very well and made weeding out those intricate cuts very, very easy. I'm just going to take my time and make sure I get that totally aligned with the patterned paper on my cardstock. And this is just coming together beautifully. I love butterflies, whether it's stamps or dies or embossing folders. I love them all. So the only other thing I need to do here is just add the body and antennae, and those will abut right up to the black detailed wings. Get these all put together. And you see that slit there in the middle of the butterfly? That is actually for the medallion. It has a little slot on the top and bottom that would hold that oval, and it actually pops up when you open and close the card if you were to use this as an independent fold-along card and not add it to a card base. So it's kind of cool how that works. But in my case, I'm going to take that medallion and actually glue it to the center of my card. And then again, add a sentiment strips, and then I'm going to adhere this whole fold along to the front of an A2 size card. All right, so now I will move on to the sentiment strips, and I use these Tim Holtz stickers. You have several to choose from. I tried to choose some sentiments that I knew would fit within that oval, and I'm still going to snip them apart and give them a little trim so they fit perfectly on that medallion. The great thing about these Tim Holtz stickers is they are sticky. They're plenty sticky, but they are also repositionable. So while I'm playing around here with using the sentiment strips that I want to adhere on this medallion, you'll see that I'll be able to pull them up and move them around, and they will not tear the cardstock beneath them. So one of the things I like to do after I get these positioned exactly where I want them is I'll pull them up and just add a dab of glue to each end, and then make sure I get that adhered back onto my medallion, just for extra sticking purposes. It makes it really nice that they're repositionable because you're not sure what would look the best as you're working with them. And here is my inside sentiment on my fold along. So that actually completes the fold along card itself. But again, I said I was going to add this to an A2 size card, and here are my mat sizes. And I have all of these dimensions and some of the instructions on my card blog if you want to come visit me over at Vintage Hill Studio. I put each week's card blog on all the dimensions and supplies on my card blog so that it's easier for you. And it coordinates with my videos. So here we go. I'm just going to get this put on the front of my card. You can see I'm going right over that opening there because I am not going to use that pop-out function of the fold-along. I simply want to be able to open it on the front of my card. These turn out so pretty. There are endless possibilities and colors you can use for your fold-along butterfly cutouts. I chose to use this white paper because, as you can see, when the fold along is closed, because one side of my cardstock is white, this camouflages that when I put it on a white background. So there is my fold along card. I'll move on to the inside. I chose this sentiment, and I'm going to try to get this to coordinate with the front of my card by using a water brush, an old piece of tile that I have on hand, which is great for working with inks because this will wipe right off with a paper towel when I'm done. So I'm just going to quickly go around my sentiment using the same distress inks that I used on the outside medallion. Again, I'm going for a very organic look that coordinates with my orange paper on the front, but will still tie my whole card together inside and out. Now I did use a VersaFine black onyx ink, and I let that dry. And my distress inks and the water brush will not disturb that ink. It will not run. I won't have any blurry, fuzzy, printed sentiment there. It works just fine with the VersaFine Onyx Black ink. So I'm almost done here with getting this all coordinated with the colors that I used on the front. I'm going outside the perimeter of my stamped image because I'm going to take my scissors and just quickly cut out that rectangle so that it is ready to go on the inside of my card. I left some white space, but I'm trying to blend that organically again to get the look of what was done on the outside of the card. Okay, I tried that on the inside. I thought that looked fairly plain, so I brought over another strip of that paper that was used on the front, and I am going to run that through that same henna embossing folder. I'll kind of put this on an angle and get it run through my Sizzix Texture Boutique to get more of the pattern on that strip. Gorgeous. It goes with the medallion on the front. I'm going to adhere my inside sentiment, and that will complete my card. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial today, and maybe you can go out and get this die. It is so much fun, and I think it's so beautiful. Here's my finished card, and of course my lined envelopes. I have many videos on YouTube that you can check out that show you how to line your envelopes with no dies, no special measurements. It's an easy peasy envelope liner, so go visit some of those videos if you're interested. And I hope you will come back and visit me real soon. Feel free to subscribe to my card blog or my YouTube channel. And happy crafting, everyone!